Alright, welcome back to A Certain Magical Index, anime review, episode number 3. Well, with this one we're discussing, actually 4. Actually, yes, 4. This one discussing episodes 7 through 9 of A Certain Magical Index. Also with these episodes, I am pausing at this point because, well, I was planning on pausing at some point. I was planning on pausing originally with 12, but because 12 was middle of a story arc, that's why I'm basically pausing now. Yes. So, basically, here's kind of what happened. So, Tojima still has memory loss, especially when he's up with Styles, a character he just met a few episodes ago. So, we start off with him and Index just going about. Of course, he had to buy like a book for class. Like, how does he remember class? It's like, it seems like his most immediate memory has been destroyed. But it seems like, okay, so he remembers Index. But it's like certain things he knows how to do, like answer a phone or do whatever. It's like, I would say it's like they never clearly defined what actually was destroyed. Like, they say one of his brain was destroyed, yes, but if something involved memories, what type of memories? It's like anything involving people, with the exception of Index. So, and of course, maybe has some ice cream, and then also later on this thing, she finds a cat she names Sphinx. Yes, a cat she names Sphinx. Also, Index has been living at Tojima's apartment. So, yeah, and then of course Styles comes back to, he comes back to Japan, even though he just left, just the previous episode. You're like, wait, he's back? Yeah, he's back. And he recruits Tojima to go infiltrate a cram school to rescue somebody. Of course, this comes up later. So, then of course, he runs into his two friends from school, which he does not remember them at all. And then thinks, oh, maybe go to some ice cream, this ice cream place. And then turns out the place is closed. It makes him very angry. She makes it like first one of his friends makes her angry, then the gym makes her angry, and the ice cream place is closed, makes her more angry. And then they decided to go to the show's version of McDonald's, where she orders herself 3 shakes, which is probably a lot of calories for her. Yep. Oh, by the way, I should point out, though, McDonald's employees are not allowed to put straws inside of the drinks. I actually did try that once when I was first hired, because I did it out of habit because of, well, before I was hired. I was told, no, you can't do that at all. And looked like she was given it on a tray, which is interesting. And it's not a cup tray. Oh, no. This is basically a plastic tray people hand around. Which is kind of interesting because, like, if it's drinks, if it's 3 drinks like that, we don't normally put it on a tray like that. We put it in a regular cup tray. Like, basically 4th and cup tray and give it to the customer. And she carries around, she drinks those drinks, and then they happen to come across this girl, and her name is, let's see if I can find her name here. And I should point out, though, she's voiced by Lindsay Seidel, and this is now the 24th series. Now, this has been unusual for a character like her, because normally she voices characters very cheery, very happy. This one, a bit more serious. Yes. I'm a little surprised that they decided to do this, but okay. So where is the new... Okay, the new girl's name is... If I can find her here. Her name is Asia. Yes, she is. She's a magician, but she's dressed like a shrine maiden. Or a priestess, as basically. Yeah, she's Lindsay Seidel's character. And I also mentioned this guy named Akaros Izzard, which apparently it's revealed a little bit later that he actually was a former partner of Index. He was actually a partner for 3 years by defense of the series, and he's voiced by Jason Labrin in now my 17th series that I've heard him in. Yes, the guy who voiced characters like Rob Lucci from One Piece and Dobby from My Hero Academia. And I believe he was also the lead character in Our Last Crusade or The Rise of a New World. Yeah, as mentioned, he went in hiding for 3 years because he just wanted to save he wanted to save Index by making her a vampire. Yes, that's one of the things he wanted to do. Sphinx, of course, is a cute little cat. Which, I should point out that the cat does not speak. You're like, really? An animal who doesn't speak in an anime? Well, here's the primary reason why. It's set in the real world. So, he meets her, of course, and of course she needs 600 yen to take a train back home. And look at her teacher just happened to be there. Give her 100 yen. And takes the train because she spent a lot of money on hamburgers. Yes. And because apparently they cost like 100 yen, which I should point out that 100 yen in US currency is $1. So she bought $30 worth of hamburgers. Now, I should point out though, eating that much is not very healthy. Hamburgers might be good, like maybe like 1 or 2, but not 30. I get the fact she was hungry, but how about eat something a little more filling than just a hamburger? At least you get a sandwich. Like, get yourself a meal. So, and of course she has Tojima basically for money. He's like, I have no money because basically he had just been on a book and, well, I think that the ways, I don't think they've explained it, but I'm thinking that he probably gets his money probably from an allowance he's given from the school because he attends school there. So, then after this, recorded by Styles, and they go to this, they refer to it as a science cult, basically it's a regular school. And they go inside it and discover a corpse. And of course he thinks it's a robot, but nope, it's a soldier of the Roman Catholic Church who has died and no one else but them can see this person. He explains it's more of a heads and tails situation where they're in the tail side of the school, despite the fact they're kind of in the same space. And at one point you have a girl just walking through the blood like a hologram. So then, of course, they meet up with the Lizard, who and take Index hostage, which at one point Index was basically staying in the apartment, but she gets out because she discovers, runes. And then, of course, that she's ended up being captured, of course. And then, of course, they meet up with, Izzard, which, of course, apparently that he does not know anything what's going on past 3 years because he's cut himself off from the real world. And he's been training her to kill vampires. And they mentioned about, this type D stuff, like, I wonder if the writer himself basically was referencing Blood D, like some of vampire type anime airing around the same period of time. So maybe he was implying he was going to have her fight one of those vampires, but I highly doubt it. So, like, they mention vampires here, but there's no appearance by a vampire. And according to him, vampires in this world don't exist. For reasons. Normally put a lot of the anime come across tend to have vampires existing. A lot of fantasy animes love vampires. They love having them. And also a lot of the time, vampires in Japanese media are not depicted the same way as they are in Western media, where weekend sunlight. They don't like garlic. They hate crosses. Some don't actually they laugh at crosses. Or some religious symbol. The fact that the only way to kill them is either with like a stake to the heart or like a silver bullet. And also all they do is drink blood and sleep in coffins. In the Japanese version, they have vampires eat normal food. Like it's nothing. Yep. So, then of course, basically, then we have him fight him, of course, and then he has to play along the fact that his arm has been chopped up. Yes, the same arm basically creates a thing called Image Breaker, and it's a really cool fight sequence. And Somehow he's able to no-sell his arm being chopped off. At one point, it seems like he's about to chop off his head, but nope. Also, there's this weird thing where his ability is that he makes things reality, but he has to think about it and use these little needles. Like, oh, tell basically Styles to have his skin removed from his bones. I'm like, what the heck was this? But it turns out, nope, he's perfectly fine. Yeah, he basically had no problem seeing his skin. It seemed like an illusion. And he's able to be beaten, despite the fact that Toshiro is walking to him with one arm. And his whole side is covered in blood. And then, after he's beaten, they change his face and let him go. And also, Styles wiped his memory. And they changed his face so he could pass to the guards. And as for Tojima, basically, well, he gets his arm sewn back on. And we see this doctor apparently became a doctor to chase nurses. Yes, by the way, the same doctor from just 3 episodes prior to this. And then, of course, you have Index just sitting on his lap while chewing an apple. And then it turns out that Asuya is going to be staying with them. And he's against this. I'm like, dude, you are a lucky man to have these 2 beautiful women stay with you. And that's pretty much those 3 episodes. I gotta admit, still pretty good. I actually am enjoying this series, but I have to put the series on pause for now in order to work on a new anime. For now, anyways. Once this anime is completed, then we'll head back to watching this to finish up this first season, which currently I have 15 episodes left to go for it. And the thing is, the very next story arc is 5 episodes, which makes it the second longest arc of the whole season, because here's the weird thing. Basically, for the next, 3 arcs afterwards, we have 2 3-parters. Well, technically, the second one is actually more like a 4-parter, because they resolved that plot thread at the start of Season 2. And the final arc is 4 episodes. Yep. So I'll be back with that, don't worry. But after I finish this anime, I'll discuss that next. Okay? So yeah, that's pretty much a particular video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. Next up we have is basically, well, a brand new anime. Discuss in a minute, okay? Bye.